All right, folks. You may have read, and I'm not sure that it's news, but it's interesting in the context of the discussion that's happening around our international relations. Aukus, the Australian, UK, British and US, defence pact really, or defence arrangement, which we may join as sort of second class or add-on members, adjunct members in what's called Pillar 2, reports this week that AUKUS, those groups, also talking with Canada and Japan. So are they trying to play a bit of FOMO on us, fear of missing out, being part of this regional pact or Tier 2? And where are we at with this? I mean, Winston Peters says he's going to brief us at every turn. Some say, Helen Clark and our next guest, I think, would say, we don't need to jump into this. And the Aussies are a bit silly buying nuclear submarines. But is this playing up of Canada and Japan possibly designed to push New Zealand further down the road towards AUKUS? We're joined by our international boffin on things, foreign affairs, etc., Professor Robert Patman. Robert, lovely to see you again. How are you?
Great to see you, Sean.
All right. So, firstly, can we assess, is this news that Canada and Japan are talking with the AUKUS people or not?
I don't think so. It's an ongoing process of exploration by New Zealand, South Korea, Canada, and Japan into joining Pillar 2, which is the second component of AUKUS. Pillar 2 really envisages defence sharing. I'll start again. It envisages cooperation and sharing of advanced defence technology. And New Zealand has expressed, going back to 2023, expressed some interest in exploring this, and the current government is continuing that process of exploration. But of course, Pillar 2 and Pillar 1 serve the overall purpose of this enhanced security arrangement called AUKUS, which is to deter China.
Yeah. Okay, what position are we left in, hypothetically speaking, Robert, if South Korea and Canada and Japan say we want in on Pillar 2, we become something of an outlier then, don't we? Or do we fly our flag as independent and neutral?
I wouldn't say neutral. I don't think New Zealand's ever been neutral. I mean, I think most Kiwis are pretty committed to a liberal democracy. So I don't think we will be neutral. I think there'll be a fear that we would be left behind in terms of access to really sophisticated defence technology. The counter-argument to that is no AUKUS members, even if it includes Japan, South Korea, etc., would have an interest in denying us access to this technology. After all, you could argue that one of the biggest bulwarks against rising Chinese influence is to have a diverse range of liberal democracies counterposing it. So there is the argument that New Zealand could lose out in the defence sector. What sort of areas are they exploring? That remains a bit of a mystery because it's not clear what Pillar 2 exactly involves other than sharing cutting-edge defence technology, but it's reported it involves areas like AI, artificial intelligence, quantum and cybersecurity. And of course, cybersecurity is very important both for us but for many other countries.
Yeah. I guess, too, we might be perceived, if all these other folk were to join up to Pillar 2, Robert, we are further away than any threat than any of the other people involved in AUKUS, right? We are literally down the bottom of the world, least likely to be militarily invaded. Might we be seen as freeloaders if we don't get involved by those other countries?
Well, first of all, I would challenge that assumption. Many people in this country articulate that argument that our geographical isolation makes us less vulnerable. I don't think geography is any protection anymore. Wow. We saw with the Christchurch terror atrocity that we're not immune to trends across the world. We are being subject, as we speak, to cybersecurity intrusions. This happens on a daily basis.
Yep.
It's conducted by a variety of actors. So I don't think we can trot that argument out that no one's interested in us. They are interested in us, and we better get real about it.
Wow, okay. You're being more hawkish than normal.
Not really. I'm trying to be realistic, Sean.
But we still really don't know. We haven't got straight timelines. There's kind of a cloud of diplomacy over this right now, isn't there?
Yeah, and I think I have a suspicion that the ambiguity concerning the discussions around Pillar 2 may be, in the case of South Korea, Canada and New Zealand, linked to the outcome of the US presidential election.
Right, okay, so we're waiting to see what happens there.
Yeah, I think so. I think if Mr. Trump wins, and he could, it seems to be a neck-and-neck race, then that will be very difficult for the current national-led government, or any government in this country, I think, to sell the case, make the case.
Yeah.
For
why? Because of his trade protectionism?
Yes, his trade protectionism, his opposition to multilateralism, which is a key tenet of New Zealand foreign policy, his America First approach, and also the hawkish noises that Mr. Trump and J.D. Vance, his running mate in the US presidential election, have made about alliances where they say any alliance with a Trump administration, any alliance members and allies will have to take very seriously, above all, the interests of the United States, which is a sort of reaffirmation of the America First approach.
I hear you. Robert, I hadn't thought about it in that context before. You've just made an argument for why perhaps the American elections are relevant to us, because I often accuse people of having Trump derangement syndrome and an unhealthy obsession with it. While I've got you here, I just want your views, and this is a story that is still unclear. The exploding pages and now exploding walkie-talkies in Lebanon. Look, first, I just want to clarify, is Hezbollah a terrorist group?
I think it is classified as a terrorist group. It's basically a proxy of Iran.